Hello, it's Leanne Phillipson, registered nutritionist from sproutright.com, and welcome to Cook Together while in, I guess we'll just continue with the self-isolation thing. Technically, it's kind of day 17, but really, I think if I did the math right, it's like day 20 or 21 because I took a break just over Easter weekend. How was your Easter, or if you celebrate Passover? I hope you had a lovely time no matter what you did. I did see some friends that were still doing ham and turkey and all the usual fixings for their Easter dinner, and then other people just said, forget it. This is not normal, so we're not going to do normal things. Some new one-off tradition that might stick or might not. So I hope that whatever you did, that you were with someone maybe, or if not, you were able to do virtual celebrations with people on your computer, on FaceTime or Zoom or whatever it is that everybody's doing. So welcome back to a brand new day here in Toronto. It is gray and rainy, and I think it kind of just matches the mood and the feeling of, I don't know, what's going on, of just feeling a little bit blah. Even though we try and find, as many fabulous moments and see the silver lining, some days are just tougher than others. So hang in there, turn up here at 5 o'clock every day. I hope that this serves as being together in some way, some form of community. Know that I'm going to continue showing up for you in doing some cooking together, so that you don't feel like you're alone and, oh, now I got to think of another meal. So in the coming days, I don't think I've got it quite together just yet for tomorrow, but in the coming days, I noticed today when I was posting 2 different recipes that was quite a lot. At some point my publisher might come and say, why are you putting so many recipes online? Well, obviously I know, they know why I'm doing it. But I think moving forward, I'm going to post the ingredients that you need early in the day so that if you can add that to your shopping list. And then I'm going to send out the recipe via email. So I'll find out at the end. I'll get Logan, my tech support, is back. So she's manning your comments, your hellos, all of those kind of things. But I do have a link where you can go to sign up just to get the recipes into your inbox every single day. And that's how we're going to just send them out, just so I'm not posting so many recipes online. And that it just makes it easier for you to go to your inbox, hit print, and then hey presto, because I know it's really difficult to, especially on Instagram, to copy and paste anything out. So, of course, you can always just order my book. You can get it from Indigo Chapters. You can get it from sproutright.com too. But I'm trying to figure out an easier way to get the recipes for you so that you're maybe not working off your phone all the time too. So let's get to today. What are we going to cook together today? So today, I did venture out last week. I think I probably mentioned that on Thursday when it was my birthday, that I actually ventured out to get some food. And I shared a little bit more on Eat This with Leanne on this week's episode 15 on my podcast about my experience. So you can head over to leannephillipson.com, and I posted that this morning. So yeah, I'll tell you a little bit more about my experience there, and the podcast sounds a million times better because now I have a new groovy microphone. So today I'm going to celebrate with some fish, because that was something that we didn't have while we were in self-isolation, and we just didn't have it. I made the fish cakes. We might have some other fish coming up this week. I'm going to not completely overwhelm you with fish this week, but anyway, I've got a beautiful piece of trout. It's huge. And the reason why I have such a big piece of trout, and we're going to make the garlic maple salmon, aka now today trout, because that's all I have. Even though in my book I do have a super simple baked trout, this recipe is a favorite. I use it all the time. The simple baked trout is absolutely delicious as well. But I thought I just wanted to show this one to you. And then the other, I've got a page marked because these are 2 different pages. There's no, actually here's the photo right there. Then I'm going to make the Beet and Carrot Slaw with ginger sesame dressing. So that mine's going to be ginger, no sesame dressing because I don't actually have any sesame oil or roasted sesame oil, which would give it a little bit more of an Asian flair to it. So let me just mark that page, pop that off to the side, and bring in this beautiful piece of trout, which is massive. And what I want to show you how to do first is to make there goes my garlic, I've got some more here, is to make the maple, that's just maple syrup. Simplest recipe ever, and it's a huge winner. So I'm going to put in about a teaspoon. I don't even remember what the recipe calls for. I kind of just do this by looking now. You can put lemon in this if you want. I've got too much garlic here. But the purpose of this, I think the first time that I ever made this was to encourage my daughters to eat a little bit more fish. So, I've done that in many ways. Fish cakes was one thing that we made that I used to make, because as long as the fish cakes had, either potato or some sort of like breadcrumbs on the outside, then they were a huge hit. So this is because I'm sure I was trying to get garlic into them in another way, because I'm always trying to do that because it's so important for our immune system. So this one's a great one for your immune system. So that's really it. Maple syrup, garlic, and dill. You can use any kind of herb that you like, but with salmon or with trout, dill goes really, really well. I'm just gonna, because of the times that we're in, let me just throw in another garlic to my garlic press and squeeze a room. There we go. So because this piece of fish is quite large, I'm hoping that it's going to be mostly cooked by the time I've made the salad, so that I can come back to you and show you what it looks like rather than a before and after. And also for tomorrow's recipe, then my daughters and I are not going to eat all of this fish. So I'm going to save some of it, and some of it's going to go in tomorrow's recipes, because we're going to make the frittatas tomorrow. So because this piece is really quite thick, and you probably find this a lot with salmon too, then what I tend to do is I just score a little bit of the slightly thicker bits, because otherwise you end up with one end, like down here, is completely cooked, and up this end is not cooked. So if you just score it a little bit, it also just evens out the cooking. You can go ever so slightly deeper on the thicker points and not so much on the others. And then when you put the maple syrup and garlic and dill on, then you can just shove it into those, into where you scored, and that's it. That's as much as it takes. Fish can be cooked at pretty high temperature, so somewhere around 400, sometimes 425, depending on what you've got. This is obviously a really big piece. If you wanted to do this in a frying pan, then just cut them up into individual slices, and then away you go. But that's it. Fish is ready to go in the oven. Okay, I'll be back. I'm going to go put it in my oven so that I can maybe do the big reveal afterwards. Okay, I'm back. So next up is the salad. Look at all these lovely, beautiful, colorful vegetables that I've got going on here. Let me get rid of this. We've got the dressing. I've got a fair bit of grating to do. I did not get prepped as much, but also I thought, you know what, let's just do it all together, because so that you can see how long it takes. So this is like a fairly complete meal, I guess. If I had any of the smashed potatoes that I made last night for dinner, then that would go beautifully with this, but they were a pretty big hit, so they are all gone. But any leftovers, I think I've got some carrots. Well, we've already got carrots going on here, but we've got some sugar snap peas left over from last night, so that would be a perfect thing to add on the side of this. But really these two together, maybe with some rice if you fancied it, some quinoa, In my book, I've got curry quinoa salad. That would go nice if you're a curry lover or you quite enjoy curry. Then that would be another great one to add in there as well. And so I do need to refer to this recipe because I don't remember everything that goes into the dressing. So let me just find where I marked my page. There we go. And it's okay. It's all good. Okay, so in here I already have a quarter of a cup of olive oil. To that, if you can believe it, it's going to be a lot. This is super alkalizing. Apple cider vinegar. Do you add apple cider vinegar to anything when you, maybe I know a lot of people that have this first thing in the morning. I used to do an apple cider vinegar drink every morning. Actually, I haven't done that for a really long time. So that's a half a cup of apple cider vinegar going in there. I've already got the quarter of a cup of oil. Got some liquid honey that needs to go in. So this is a local honey, which is always good to use. There's a lot of talk that when you use local honey, if you end up with allergies, if you get that histamine response, which believe it or not is a really natural response of your body to allergies, then you can start to use local honey because it does help not only, well, not so much with the histamine response, but I guess in a roundabout way it does. So wash my fingers of that. So try and use as much local and raw honey as possible. In one of the other videos I talked about how important it is, or maybe it was in a podcast, how important it is. Manuka honey especially works locally. So if you've got a sore throat and you have either some raw honey or Manuka honey, then it really, really helps what your mast cells are trying to do, which is what gives you the sore throat in the first place. So it can be very, very soothing. So this also called for some sesame oil, a tablespoon, which I don't have, so I just put in a little bit more olive oil. Chopped fresh basil, don't have that either, so actually you might put in, Logan, could you grab some cilantro, please, if that's still doing any good? I'm not really sure if it is or not. 2 teaspoons of ground ginger and 1 teaspoon of tamari. Do you know what tamari is, everybody out there? Tamari is wheat-free soy sauce. So if you need it to be wheat-free, then this is the one that you can use. Well, I think actually that is parsley. There's another one. They look very much the same, don't they? Okay, so in my magic grater, which just came from IKEA, turn that dish over, and then I'm going to grate the ginger. I don't really measure this. Hadley doesn't love stuff that has ginger in it that's really too hot, but cilantro coming. Yeah, it's looking a little towards the end of its life, but I'll use it. Give it a wash. Chop it up. Okay, so ginger done. That was super easy to do. Get rid of that. So what's been going on? Tell me what's been going on in your life if you're sitting there watching. Logan will pop back around again to tell me what you guys are talking about. How was your Easter? Did the Easter bunny come around your place if you celebrate? If not, what did you do? Did you just eat all the chocolate yourself? This is this time, and also around about Halloween is when I tend to see and hear about a lot more babies having digestive issues, a lot more gassiness, kids having a lot more colds. That could be different this year because they're not at school sneezing all over each other. So that's quite possibly, I'm not sure if I use the same knife as the other one. Just ditch that one and grab my second knife. Yeah, the kids are not at school sneezing all over each other, so that could make a really big difference to the typical colds. But normally when we go and binge on all that chocolate because of all the sugar, our immune system kind of tanks and is just a little more susceptible to what's going around. So I've talked about that on podcasts on the boost your bulletproof your immunity. Really getting myself out of saying boost your immune system because my very esteemed colleague and our own doctor, actually, in the U.S., or alternative practitioner, or alternative doctor, Dr. Davis Brockenshire. He called me out on that when I interviewed him just as the coronavirus had started. So he said, we don't really boost our immune system. Like, it's sort of just trucking along, going about its day, and then all of a sudden you go and have garlic and woo, it's alive, it's feeling better. It's like every single day we have to focus on this. So that's why every single day I have my Kid Boost with my Alka-C to make sure that I've got all the antioxidants going on, that I've got tons of nutrients going in. All of these things are really, really important to make sure that you're doing every single day. Taking my Sunshine D3 K2 every day. I shove it in my kids' faces as soon as they get up in the morning, just so that they take it and they go, "Yes, fine, Mom." And that's just how it is, because we don't always remember to do it. Okay, so that's the dressing pretty much done. I'll taste that in a minute. And then just gonna chop up, there's not too much of the green onion, which I also got while I was chopping the other day. Not too much of the green onion that we need, but that's gonna go into the salad. So I'm not really doing this in any particular order other than what's on the top of the bowl that I just put together. So, any comments or questions, Logan? While she's sitting behind the camera eating her antioxidant-rich raspberries like she did when she was 2, by putting them on her fingers. Okay, you're gonna have to come and show everybody now that I've just said that.
No!
Even though she's still, can you believe it, 5 o'clock while she is 16 in her pajamas.
I'm not in pajamas, I'm wearing sweatpants.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. She did actually go, well, now you have to come and show everybody what you've got on your fingers.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on. Here she comes. Show it off. It's much more fun to eat them that way. There you go. Very good. So you can get your kids to eat all the berries you want if they fit on top of their fingers. And she started that probably when they were rather large for her fingers.
Yeah,
when
now you gotta squish them.
Fingers were very small, but now she has to kind of just squish them onto her fingers. So,
or your pinky.
Or just your pinky?
Well, yeah, because pinkies are tiny.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good way and a fun way to eat raspberries. Okay, so I don't even know how much of this kale I'm supposed to have. 1 cup. Yeah, that looks like about 1 cup to me. If you overwhelm the kale, for some people they don't love it. Newer kale tends to go to, if you're trying to get your kids to eat kale or not spit it out like mine used to, just because I'm a nutritionist doesn't mean that they eat everything I want them to, then make sure that it's slightly younger kale and it's not super, it's not really old, because it tends to get more bitter as it gets older. So now you gotta watch me do a lot of grating. Actually, let me cut up the red pepper. So this guy was left over actually from last week from the quesadillas. So it was looking a little funky on the edges. I gave it a really good wash, and then just got rid of the bits that were not so, they were a little slimy, a little bit like Chris's cucumber, which is a really funny story if you listen to the Eat This with Leanne podcast on Storage Wars, or if you've heard the promo that I posted on Instagram and Facebook. He asked me about his wilted cucumber. So we just had a really funny chuckle about that. Okay, so in goes the red pepper. It's high in vitamin C, antioxidants. We've already got some nice colors going on there, people. Oh, I have a little bit more kale here. Let me just chop that up. So while the fish cooks, it should probably, most of the time, most fish cook in about 10 minutes on a fairly hot and high oven. But in this case, because that's a really pretty big piece, then it might need a little bit longer. So I'll go check it in a little bit. So red onion is just lovely. You don't need too much of it in this recipe, so that's why I've only got a really small piece here. But feel free to add as much as you want to this, because red onion is not as strong. You could also swap it out for some shallots or Also, if you don't have a red onion and you only have normal onion, then why don't you chop up just a small amount of that onion, as long as you're okay with it. Some people don't do well with raw onion and garlic. It makes them feel really nauseous and not so great. Then take your onion, put it into a bowl and cover it with water. I think, why am I washing an onion? That's a really weird thing to do. But then once you strain it, then it loses some of its over the top power. So red onion is much more delicate. So it's a much better one to do. What's this, sweetheart? Logan just passed me her little. Yeah, it's going up getting my eyes again.
Sorry.
Is this the red onion?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Logan really likes it. She puts this with her eggs, and what else did you have? She had eggs and something else this morning. And guacamole. So then she added this to the guacamole. I have. Oh, that reminds me of Hadley's video. I have finished editing it. I just need to type up the recipe for you because it's not a recipe that's in my book. And yeah, that's a bit of a sneak peek into what happens with Hadley. The recipe is called peanut butter protein muffins. So that'll be up shortly. I just need to finish typing up the actual recipe, but the little bit of spillage is a sneak peek into what happens. And no, I didn't shove that in the outtakes, because if you haven't seen our blender pancake video that's on YouTube, just head to Sprout Right's channel and search for blender pancakes with Hadley. Then there's some outtakes at the end, which is super funny. And she's, throughout this most recent video, she's saying, yeah, Mom, you just gotta edit that out. And then she says, you're not gonna edit that out, are you? And I said, no, probably not. So anyway, so for this recipe, I need 2 cups of grated carrots. So you can use a food processor if you've got it. I do have a mini chopper, but my muscles are not getting as much of a workout as they used to. So I'm gonna grate and save the end. Oddly enough, my dog really likes carrots. Like, give me a piece of carrot. She eats raw food, raw turkey, salmon, and lamb every day, but she likes the ends of broccoli, and she also likes carrots. Interesting. So if I were to stick that in her bowl right now, then she'd come running, I can tell you that much. So this might be closer to 2 cups, and then I've got some beets here ready to go. And the beets, if you're not a huge fan of beets, and because you're thinking about pickled beets, then I'm going to suggest that you please try, no, definitely not. Then you please try raw beets. While we were away in March break, my lovely friend Crystal, is Crystal online, Logan? Have you seen Crystal Wave on Instagram?
There's Kristen, not Crystal.
Okay. So Crystal made a beautiful veggie plate the first day that we arrived, and she included just some sticks, like French fry size pieces of beets. And my kids loved them. If I'd have put them out there, I'm not sure if they would have loved it as much, but doesn't matter. They ate them. They absolutely loved them. So raw beets are just delicious. And I'm just going to get out my 1 cup measure here, just to give me a bit of an eyeball so I don't completely overwhelm, but have an idea. Yeah, I definitely need that other one. So I'll just do the other one. This does not have to be exact. Please know that you can kind of wing it with these, but you want it a little bit more in proportion. So the grated beets needs 2 cups, so the same. So I have a really big juicy beet here. So the thing with beets is they are so anti-inflammatory, and when it comes to this virus, COVID-19, then the big talk of the town amongst my peers is, of course, anti-inflammatory, immune support, anti-inflammatory. So when we get sick, then we have a situation where our body, as a part of what it does to to enhance the immune system, to mount an attack to what's going on, then something called cytokines are produced, and that's just what our bodies do. And every expert I've seen talk about it brings up the cytokine storm is what it's called. So we would get sick, and then the cytokines kind of elevate because that's part of the inflammation of the normal situation where our bodies are mounting an attack. What happens is we get into a really higher situation of cytokines. Sorry, I need to keep talking. Keep writing. We get into another situation where our body's producing so much inflammation, and that is part of the issue with what's going on with COVID-19. So that's been talked about for a really long time. Okay, so my hands are never going to be the same after this. So that's a really big issue. So something like these beautiful beets have, the way that they work in your body is there is something called nitric acid, which is produced in your body, especially helpful for so many things. But when I've talked about this, not only on radio, but how important beets are for men. And you think, okay, so why men? Well, yes, you're probably thinking along the right terms. So for blood flow, for erectile dysfunction, beets are the #1 food for men to include in their diet. And yes, I totally just went there. So as many beets as possible for any fertility issues, for any erectile dysfunction issues, then please include beets. You can have, beets are incredible for your liver. Beets are incredible for your gallbladder. Beets are incredible for detoxification. Absolutely everything, as most vegetables are, but beets more so because, look at the color. My hands are not doing too bad. The color of them is absolutely, it's part of my Kid Boost. I even put it in there because it's so important for us to have, just in a powder form, obviously, because Kid Boost is a powder that you add into water. Now I'm throwing the beets everywhere. So as many beets as you can feed everybody right now, as well as the garlic, really everything that has color to it is so important for all of us right now. I did actually chat with a friend, or was texting a friend on the weekend who, I think that looks actually pretty good, who actually is recovering from COVID-19, and she herself is a homeopath. Unfortunately, she had to go to the hospital with her husband, and she ended up being exposed potentially to someone, and ended up 5 days later coming down with, she was never tested, so coming down with the virus, and she's still recovering. So I immediately recommended that she get on as many anti-inflammatory foods, as many anti-inflammatory supplements. Part of my recommendation was my Kid Boost because it just provides so much for you. So I could probably add in another beet here as well, which I might do after, just you don't have to sit here watching me do that. Let me try out my dressing, make sure that tastes okay. I haven't put any salt or pepper in it, so I'll probably season it momentarily. I might just put a smidge more oil in there because it's very vinegary. And if you do actually have sesame oil, then that would, and especially roasted sesame oil, then that would cut the amount of vinegar that's in there. So let me put in some salt and pepper. Lexi's come just to see if there's anything falling off the counter, because now she seems to think that as soon as I'm in the kitchen that I'm going to be dropping everything. So just adding in some salt and pepper there. Let me get another spoon to give it a stir, and then pour that on. So there's lots of great flavors in this, lots of great vibrancy, lots of energy, all going in there. The ginger is anti-inflammatory as well, super soothing, really, really good for your belly, for your gut, and this can keep in the fridge for days. So I will definitely be eating this probably for the rest of the week. Stick it in a container and you are good to go. So that is that. Really, oh, it's just so good. It smells so incredible. the ginger and the apple cider vinegar mixed together. I don't know. I like the smell of it. Okay, so that's that ready to go. And of course the beets kind of just go all over the carrots just to make them like that. Okay, now great big mess. Let me go and see how the fish is looking. I don't think it's going to be cooked yet, but let's go and take a peek. This one recipe book has been so well used now. All right. It's actually looking incredible. Ta-da! How's that? So the maple syrup does get, it's on quite a high oven, so I've got it on probably about 400. So the maple syrup can tend to burn just a little bit, so just watch out for that. But look how gorgeous that looks. And I will just check to see if it's cooked all the way through, especially in those, in these bits here. So as soon as your fish is flaky, then you are good to go. So yes, it's all good to go. Look, I've got dinner ready. Have you got dinner ready? If you've been making this too? So that's fantastic. Logan, can I just ask you to go onto my computer into WhatsApp and let me know what it was that Kristen sent for the link, please. There's a link for people to start heading over to. While in the next couple of days, I'm going to post on social media the ingredient list for what we're making. And then I'm going to send you the recipe via email. Yes, Logan.
It's sproutright.com/cooktogether, and Crystal's here, and she's to the little part I said.
Hello, Crystal. I just shared our beet story once again because I've just made the beautiful beet, carrot, kale, and ginger dressing salad. I don't even think that's what it's called in my book. So many recipes, 130 recipes in my book, and I don't know that I remember every single name. I get some of them a little bit mixed up. So please head over to sproutright.com/cooktogether. You don't have to put the hashtag in like I've been doing on social media. sproutright.com/cooktogether. You'll go on to a list. Immediately you'll start to get the recipes anyway, because we've been sending those out to my newsletter list when we asked if anybody wanted to receive the letter, the recipes in a newsletter. So that'll come into your inbox every single day. And so as of, I'm not sure about tomorrow's post is ready to go. So in the next couple of days, then you'll get the ingredients so you can get everything together that you need, and then you'll get the recipes into your inbox, which is much more printer friendly. Yes, Logan.
Crystal just said a little yummy emoji.
She said a little yummy emoji. Yes, it is very yummy. So we've got dinner ready. We've got our trout and we've got our salad. I'm gonna get out some leftover sugar snap peas. Maybe I think we'll use those up for today after our lovely Easter dinner yesterday. And tomorrow you can look out for some frittatas. So if you're heading out shopping, make sure you pick up enough eggs, because we're gonna do that. I'm not even sure that we have any cow's milk left or cream or anything like that. So you'll see me whip up something else, because I have no plans on going shopping tomorrow to, because, well, maybe down to the corner store. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what I end up with. But just so you know that the whole time that I'm doing this cook together, I am changing up recipes left, right, and center, and using as much as I can of what I actually have in my fridge, because we can't go shopping every single day. That's not a safe thing to do, and I didn't find it so great for my sanity. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on trucking. So we'll get those recipes out to you so you can continue on with Cook Together. Feel free to share this with friends, share this with family. Know that all of the recipes are eventually getting up onto YouTube, onto Sprout Right's YouTube channel. So you'll find the video and the recipe there as well, and now they'll come into your inbox. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time, same place, on Sprout Right's Instagram and Facebook channel. Thanks so much for being along, and do reach out. Please do reach out. Head over to sproutright.com. There's a whole bunch of breakfast recipes there that you can download as well. But please reach out if you've got any particular questions or worries or concerns. And on Sprout Right's page, I've got a super question up there for my next podcast as well. So much to share. All right, have a lovely evening, and I hope where you are that the sun is shining. Take good care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.